David, we're here at Phoenix for the Saber Analytics Conference, and anyone in the game, anyone playing, fantasy baseball, anyone involved in analytics knows about Fangraphs.com. It's a hugely important website. So just walk us through the beginning of Fangraphs and how it might have changed over the years.
Okay, well, I guess when I started Fangraphs, I was working at America Online at the time, and I was doing database and reporting work, and I was very bored at my job, and eventually I was a very big fantasy baseball player, and I just wanted to win at fantasy baseball, and so eventually I decided that the sites which I was going to, they didn't provide the information I needed in the way I wanted it displayed, so I started Fangraphs, and originally it was just a bunch of charts and a couple tables with some extra information, and kind of grew from there.
So how would you describe it today? You must know about usage patterns and what's popular on your site. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but how, generally, if you don't want to talk about specifics, generally, what's Fangraphs today and how's it used?
I mean, now it's used, we have certainly still a lot of fantasy baseball usage. I mean, before the drafts, you can see sort of traffic spikes every Sunday before the season starts. Like Sunday night, everyone will be logging in and looking at, projections or, evaluating players. So there's still a lot of fantasy baseball usage. Also, there's a lot of real baseball usage, which was something I didn't necessarily intend the site to kind of grow into, but it's been great. And I think a lot of that started, like when the site was first launched, we got a lot of support from Dave Studman of the Hardball Times and Tom Tango. And so they were like a tremendous help, and they gave all sorts of ideas and sort of like directions to take the site, along with lots of other users and a lot of other people. And so I just kind of decided that take the best stuff, the best baseball stuff in general, whether it applied to fantasy or not, and kind of build a site. And that, I think the fantasy side of things probably started taking off a little bit after the real baseball side of things, even though the intention was not that.
Right, but so it's not just a numbers warehouse.
Right.
You provide analysis and commentary and other, what's all that about?
Right, so now there's two distinct sections of the site. There's the stats, and there's the stats portion where you can go up and you can look up pretty much anything you want. And then there's the analysis portion and the commentary portion, which is held up by Dave Cameron and Jeff Sullivan and Carson Sestouli and all these guys. And they just cover everything, and they cover things in a unique way. And I think I think we do a great job of covering just analysis in baseball, anything, and we do it timely. A lot of trade, like trade analysis, contract analysis. That's sort of how we got our start. When we brought Dave on board, he was always very quick in being like one of the first guys to have good analysis out on a particular contract or trade, and so he caught on, and it's great.
So you've transferred your skill set of database work previous to this into the go-to website for baseball analytics. And that's my opinion, but I think I'd back it up with all kinds of people behind me saying the same thing. It's a wonderful website with lots and lots of information and lots of great analysis and commentary. But so you've done it. You've cobbled a career out of this. But we're teaching this class, and a lot of our students, enjoy Fangraphs. A lot of our students maybe want to write, maybe want to do some analyses, maybe want to work in baseball somehow. So what do you think about that? That all of a sudden there's a university class?
I think it's great, and I think actually the class was around before Fangraphs started. I think it's great, and if the more people who want to get into baseball, the better. In terms of would it be helpful if I said something about what I think about people getting jobs in baseball?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So
do people ask you this?
Yeah, I mean, people come up and are like, how do I start writing in baseball? How do I get a job in baseball? And I mean, I think nowadays it's very much you need to show that you've done something. You know, you can have the best resume on paper, but I think it really helps if you've done some original research or you've, you know, published. I mean, even on Fangraphs, we accept just community publications, and you can submit an article for writing, and we'll publish it. And it, you know, some of them get a lot of play, and some of those guys have either gone on to be hired by us or, you know, by other companies, or, you know, some of them are, I think some of them are interns at teams now. So I think just, you know, showing that you've done something, and I think just in general that's, you know, for any job that's pretty useful. I think more people want to see what you've done as opposed to sort of what your credentials are. And I know baseball teams are looking for programmers. Like they need people who are technical, and there seems to be sort of a shortage of people who are into baseball but are also programmers, or, you know, can handle large systems. And so and with all the new baseball data that's coming out, it's becoming even more important to be able to handle like large amounts of data. I liked baseball data because it was actually a very small amount of data. But and when I worked in other businesses, like I was working on much larger databases. But with this new baseball data that's coming out, it actually dwarfs what I used to work on. And I mean, it's just unbelievable how much, like, this quantity of data.
Right. I read 7 terabytes per game.
Yeah.
And I think that came out of the MIT conference, but that's a lot of data.
It's a lot of data, and I mean, even with, you know, declining costs of hard drives, it's still a lot of data.
That's right. No, that's right. So what are those technical skill sets you think people have to emerge with these days to be able to get those internships, or look right, or do the right kind of analyses they need to do to succeed in sabermetrics?
Well, I think it helps to sort of, I mean, obviously database skills are useful. I think being able to just program in anything. I mean, R has become very popular, and I know a lot of teams, or seemingly a lot of teams may use R in their day-to-day sort of operations. I mean, I don't know R. I'm more of a database person. I'm not necessarily a quant. So I rely on a lot of other people's sort of mathematics work and, you know, analysis work to implement various stats. And
are you a SQL guy?
I mean, I do SQL, and I program, in .NET. So most of the sites most of Fangraphs is in .NET. And most of the teams these days are doing .NET, it seems.
Yeah.